intéressant. Pour des raisons techniques du reste. Donc j'invite ceux qui seraient intéressés par cet ouvrage dont vient de parler Aram Hamparian, et notamment sur le problème du négationnisme sur le site web, de venir ici, je leur donne des informations complémentaires. Alors 5 minutes de pause et nous reprenons avec Aram Hamparian. Allez,
Last 2 weeks, and especially the vote just 5 days ago in the Foreign Affairs Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives, what I thought I would do is simply offer some of the context of that vote, discuss for a moment what's at stake, and also what's next. It seems to me that in a very important matter, we have reached the tipping point. We've reached what I think we can describe as the beginning of the end of some very negative dynamics. And I'd like to go over 4 of them. The first area is what I would describe as the U.S. policy toward Turkey. And I think we're moving toward a more balanced U.S. policy toward Turkey. It is not Turkey's place to set the terms for its relationship with the United States, just as it is not Turkey's place to dictate the terms of its relationship with the European Union. I think we're approaching the end of what was described in the Wall Street Journal this morning as diplomacy by temper tantrum, the era in which Turkey can get what it wants by yelling and screaming louder than anybody else. So I think we're seeing progress on that. We're moving toward a more balanced U.S. policy. I think that the genocide vote contributed to that. How do you make? That's one. Second, I think the committee vote was a step toward protecting the integrity of the U.S. legislative process. Turkey, for a long time, has exercised a veto over how the United States deals with human rights issues that relate to Turkey. They have essentially imposed a gag rule. What they've done is successfully exported Article 301 of the Turkish Criminal Code to the United States. It's one thing, and it's a terrible thing, for Turkey to prescribe what its own citizens can say about the Armenian genocide. But the record is even more shameless when you think that they're trying to export that to the United States. If you want to get a sense, a very clear sense of how absurd this scenario has become, I offer you a question that was raised with a very senior State Department official when we met with him several months ago. One of our associates asked, if Turkey were to recognize the genocide tomorrow, would the United States follow suit? Think about the answer to that question. If the answer is yes, then it's very clear that Turkey's exercising a veto. Right? And if the answer is no, that will put America in the category of denier, which is something that they don't want to do. So it's very clearly not an American policy. It's a Turkish policy exported to the United States. Even worse, if you want to think of it this way, it's a U.S. policy that has been outsourced to Turkey. Number 2. Number 3, I think we took a step, and we need to take further steps in moving American foreign policy in a moral direction. We've been faced on so many issues with false choices. The false choice between pragmatism and principle. We know that's not the case. We know that in America and Europe and throughout the world that we advance our interests. Our interests. We advance our interests when we stand up for our values. An anti-genocide political constituency within the United States. Samantha Power wrote a Pulitzer Prize-winning book called The Problem from Hell. And she talked about the U.S. response to genocide in the 20th century and expressed frustration that that response has not been more robust and more principled. And she cites the one prime reason why the U.S. has failed to respond meaningfully, and that's the lack of a political constituency. It's not for a lack of understanding of the facts. It's not for a lack of a moral appreciation of the human cost. It's that politicians have not seen their response to genocide or their lack of response to genocide as a liability on election day, essentially. I think that there have been 3 factors that have contributed to that, maybe more. Certainly one is the regret, the commonly held regret in America about the lack of intervention in Rwanda. Number 2 is the ongoing genocide in Darfur. I would add to that growing concern about Holocaust denial.
And 4, very significantly, Turkey's efforts to deny the genocide. These things have all contributed to the growth of the genocide constituency. If you, I was just mentioning a moment ago, that if you were to travel to an American grade school today and ask the children, where is there a genocide in this world, they would all tell you there's a genocide in Darfur. That wasn't true 10 years ago in Rwanda. It wasn't true during the Holocaust. It wasn't true. Maybe it was true, actually, if you go back far enough to the Armenian genocide. I think we've observed in the last 10 years, and at least in the U.S., front-page stories in the New York Times, lead stories on CNN, the president speaking about the issue on the White House lawn. On our